Hello, the game has started. It's my opponent to go first. I have a very un-bingo-y rack. Through an N, I would have Yakona. My opponent's changed. So, do I play Chi for 22, or do I change? Well, a rack leave including 3 A's is probably pretty borderline for 22 points, so I'm going to change. And I think I will keep just the A, as it is a very bingo-y tile. Okay, I think that was probably quite a marginal call, retaining the A. But it's not duplicated. I do, however, have a Val-heavy rack. Now, in theory, E, I think, is good through an I. I may be making that up. Hopefully my opponent will provide some floaters this turn. I think in theory E is good. Okay, there is no I don't need to worry about that. So, do I have a bingo through any of these floaters, and the D is the most likely? Close to refrained. I've got the ED ending, the DE beginning. The F is non-bingo-y. Well, I can't see anything through the D, the E. Well, no, none of the vowels look good. The X, unlikely. Well, I have Zerafin. And the Y, can't see anything there. Now, I think Zerafin is very open. Only 34 points, and it wrecks the rack. So, maybe I can do something better. My F can go either side of this E. So I could play F-I-E down here, keeping a pretty good rack leave. 30 points. I think that's certainly better than Zerafin. Not great. 2 W's. But war is good as a 3-letter word, and also with an E. At the moment that plays in column 6, making Wex. It also plays in column 9, making few and D. Da, rather. I don't think there are any bingos with this rack. But apart from the W's, it is pretty bingo-y. Now, where, spelled both ways, is a suffix. My opponent's stolen my war spot. However, he's provided a new one at the top of column 8. It does burn the E, which is a shame. But I think it's going to score quite well. Do I have a bingo? Well, I'm not going to spend long looking. I don't think I do. So I've got war at the bottom here, making Wex. And I can play that, keeping the E. 22 points. But if I play the E, 36 points. That's worth doing. Great, I draw the blank. The rest of the rack is bingo-y tiles, but duplicates. So there may not be a bingo, and if there is, it may be difficult to see. Trilinear through the right pair of floaters. I've got IN. There goes the Q. Now, what about airliner? Yes, fantastic. So I've got airliner down from the A of Umiak. That does reach the double. And I've also got it across row B. Now, is there any point in looking for a better bingo? Well, row A beginning with W would be better, but the reason I'm hesitating about looking for a better bingo is that I think it's unlikely that there is one. And if there is, it may not be significantly better than this one. Airliner 66. Not great, but okay. It's not great in that it's not a bingo-y rack, but it's good for score in that I've got the J and I've got plenty of vowels to go with it. But are there any good J spots? I would have Perja through an R. No R available at the moment. IO takes a... What does it take? It takes a B in front, which I don't have. Still both to come. Now, a new floater by my opponent. So I've got Juve, which really sorts the rack out quite nicely, and it scores well. The rack leave of rope is probably as good as I can hope for from this rack. But is there a better J spot that I've overlooked? 28 points for Juve. So even if I put my J on this triple letter square, I'm not going to score much more than that. And I can't see a way of getting rid of my J by playing in row B. So are there any other really hot J spots I've overlooked? Well, I could play Jun across here, but then that's no better than Juve. 28. Too many high-scoring tiles, but fairly balanced and no duplicates, so I should be able to sort this out. I've got Power Bum in row A. Not good. So I could play Bum in column 11, making by, and me. I do have a B for going in front of IO, but nothing goes in front of FE, so that's not going to get used. I've got Bumper on my rack. Just 6 points for my opponent, so he could be sitting on a monster rack leave. And this is quite an open board. So I'm only 40 points ahead. Anyway, this is what I was thinking of. 26 points. Not a great score. Well, what about playing Plum across through the L? Yeah. It's leaving a vowel-heavy rack leave. But the P isn't particularly bingo-y. And this is scoring a lot more points. 33 points. And I'm providing a couple of constant floaters, which helps to balance out the heaviness, the vowel heaviness of the rack leave. Great, I have Dottier. Is there anywhere for that? Well, there is, because Aud and Out are both good. Is there anywhere else for it? No, but I was going to say I had Dotterel in row F, but I don't. Do I have anything through the M or B? I survived that vowel-heavy rack leave, drawing just the one vowel and 3 consonants. Now the A of War looks promising. I think Terratoid is good. I'll certainly try it if my row N spot is blocked. It doesn't get doubled, but it's a bingo. I don't think Dottier has an anagram. I can't see anything through the B. Bitorted, not good. Debitor, only 1 T. What about the M? Nope, can't see anything there. Column 11 possible, beginning with the P, but that's a pretty major overlap. And I can't see a play anyway. Now, if my opponent does take out the... I note also that I've got Dottier in column 2 making row, so if my opponent bingos in row N, then well, I've always got territory, but I'll also have the column 2 play. And if my opponent does play in row N, he could be opening up row O. Great, he doesn't. No new opportunities provided by him. So, Dottier in row N. This is opening up 2 triple word squares, which is fine. And I note my opponent's played off 5 tiles, so he's not nursing a bingo-y rack leave. 73 points. Is that the best location? It's very easy with a bingo to get it down and miss a better spot. Well, I can't see a better spot. Fantastic. I draw the second blank. And I've got the Z, which is a good scoring tile. Kaolin Eyes is good. Well, that would be through 3 tiles. Is there a shorter bingo? I can't see a 7. What about the B and M? Can't see anything there. Can't see anything through the W and the A. So what about spots for my Z? I've got Kazi, and with the blank, I'd quite like to play off the K and the Z in one go. Nice play by my opponent. I could play Kazi in row C, opening up another 9-timer. That would be quite fun. I'm just 40 points ahead, but I'm sitting on an excellent rack. Now, I can't utilise this triple word square in the middle of the bottom row because I don't have an E for going under the R. So what about playing in column 1? Can I get my Z on this double letter square? Well, maybe I can't. Oh, but I can. I can. It is retaining the K, but this is going to be a good score. Azido. 75. Pretty horrendous. I was looking to bingo this go. That's not going to happen. So, what to do? This just shows how important vowels are. Now, there is an E in airliner, so I can play feck through that. And hopefully my opponent will be drawn to row O and leave that alone. The E of Gareo is also available, but it's not. But a play there isn't going to get doubled. However, feck in that spot is still better than changing. Just looking around for other vowels on the board. The E of hurls, not particularly useful. Now the I of Vibex, well, again, it's not particularly useful. Just wondering if I've got anything in row J, sticking one of my high-scoring tiles on this triple letter square. Don't think so. Okay, well, at the moment, feck is my choice of play. "23 tiles in the bag." Just scanning the board in case there are spots I've overlooked. But I really do only need to consider vowels. Now, the E of Gareos is actually available for a bingo. So if my blank was a vowel, then I'd have 2 vowels. And there are bingos with 2 vowels. So, deck fans. Neck fads. Well, I don't think there is something there. But it's useful to bear in mind because I may be light on vowels next go. I'm looking at the remaining vowels. Great. Well, let me just do this vowel scan. I say great because my E of airliner hasn't been blocked. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 vowels out of 26, so I could be in vowel trouble. But I'm ahead, and I've got the blank. And my opponent's provided a vowel in the E of Vina. 24 points, not a great score, but it sorts the rack out in one go. And I draw blanks. Fantastic. So, do I have a bingo? And not only have I drawn vowels, I've drawn the E vowel, which can go underneath the R. I'm going to run through the alphabet. I've got densely, and that plays. I've got densely. Great. Well, I'm not going to look for a better bingo than that in row O. Densely also plays in column 2 because AY is good. So I've got an unblockable bingo. Do I have a bingo beginning with the V? Don't think so. Now, what about beginning with B and having S in 4th place? Can't see one. Well, this is shaping up quite nicely. I'm definitely going to bingo next go. There's not many tiles left, and there are some good scoring spots on the board. So, and there's more than one of them, which means that I will get first go at some of them, which will enable me to maintain my lead. Only one E left, so my opponent may not be able to play in row O. Well, while my opponent is burning his clock, I think I will look for alternative higher scoring bingos in row O. So I've got dense. Okay, let me abandon that and just get this down. I'm not short on time, but this guarantees the win, and I can't be bothered looking for a better bingo. Although I probably would spend a little bit of time in a tournament. Densely 97. Wow, that's a good score. Oh, and the Y gets doubled and then tripled. And that's pretty nice. I don't have a bingo, but it's balanced, and I've got a scoring tile in the P. Only 7 tiles in the bag. The remaining tiles are very bingo-y, so my opponent could bingo, and if he does, and there's good bingo lane in column 2 hooking this A, so he could easily have a bingo now, in which case he'll be draining the bag, and he'll have 7 tiles on his rack, which means he probably won't be able to bingo again, and I will therefore be able to go out in 2. Right, my opponent doesn't bingo, although he could next go. I note that an ING bingo would play in column 2. I've got 11 minutes on my clock. I'm going to look to go out in 2. I'm just wondering about the merits of blocking column 2. Is this the only bingo lane? Well, it's not the only one, but it's miles better than any others. So maybe I can block it by playing across row J, PAU, A works, but then I can't go out in 2. I could play Pug, but then Spug is good. I could play Tug. That takes nothing in front. But I can't see a way of going out with Panther. So 10 minutes on my clock. What else could I do? Well, I could play Pang. None of my opponent's tiles go in front of the P. Not enough tiles in column 3, so that kills all bingo activity up there. Now, tat, can I go out in 2 places? I've got teat in column 6. Do I have a second spot for tat? Yes, because T is good. So I've got it in column 7. It's possible both of those will be blocked, but I've got tart in row C, so I can definitely go out. This may not be best, but I think this has some strategic merit. I'm going to be drawing 2 tiles from the bag, so scratch what I've just said. But the stuff about, actually don't scratch all of what I've just said, just scratch the bit about going out in 2. This certainly kills the bingo lane. Not a good pickup, because I can't go out in 1. I can see what my opponent's got. He's got erosion, so I have blocked erosion, which is good. I don't think erosion has an anagram. So that has worked. Excellent. So, I mean, he may have a bingo that I haven't spotted, but I'm not going to spend time looking for it. Oh, no, it does. Ugh, that does play. How annoying. Okay, well, it hasn't won him the game. But anyway, pass to end the game. I don't know what I was thinking at the end there. But anyway, the final score, 397 to my opponent, 474 to me, a winning margin of 77 points. Let's move swiftly on and see what I missed. So, it was my opponent to go fast. He changed. My rack's awful. And I changed. My opponent's rack, he plays Deoxy. And I miss a bingo. I miss Fredane through the D. Tricky one to see, but pretty high probability, and I should have seen it. Well, I didn't. Instead, I played Phi for 30, keeping AENR. And AENR doesn't make up the 33-point deficit. Now, horrible rack for my opponent. He plays Orloy, and I play War at the top, which looks fine. My opponent's rack, he plays Umiak, and that's just what I need because it gives me Airliner, and Nerlia and Larrikin were alternative bingos I didn't see. Nice rack for my opponent. He doesn't have a bingo. He plays Vibex. I played Juve for 28, and I could have played Jewel for 36. That looks better. Slightly better rack leave and a much better score. A crosshair through the L of Orloy. Okay, so Juve's second best there. My opponent's rack, he plays... So this was when he played OU. Keeping EORSS. Okay. Now, this was my rack. I played Plum. And I still like that. My opponent's rack. Okay, he doesn't have a bingo. He plays Hurls. And that enables me to play Dottier. Terratoid was also good, but no other bingos. Now, great play by my opponent. He gets Guerreros down. And this was a lovely rack for me. Wow, look at that. Look at that. Bazookies down from the B. Wow. I wish I'd seen that. That would have been pretty fantastic. I was fairly delighted to have a Zido for 75. And indeed, the blank's worth 25 and the S8. So there's actually not much difference between these two plays. But I would still have loved to have played Bazooki. So well done if you spotted that. My opponent's rack, he doesn't have a bingo. And now my rack massively deteriorated, but I was able to sort it out with Feck. Vowel shortage for my opponent, he plays Lit. And this is a great rack for me, and I have Densely, and it was the best. My opponent's rack, he doesn't have a bingo, and Datcher is best. And now this is where I play like a loon, or commentate like a loon, because I played Pang, not blocking as I thought column 1, but I could have played Panga. Ah, well, that's across here for 44 points. In which case erosion would have played in column 2, but wouldn't have been tripled. The trouble with the choices here is that it's not really taking account of the ability to block my opponent's bingo. It's quite a tricky thing to do, or rather sometimes it's tricky, and it's tricky in this instance to identify the best player. I suspect there probably is a way of blocking erosion, or blocking a column 2 play without setting up a column 1 play, but I don't have time to work this out on this video. Anyway, I'm pretty sure Pang wasn't best, and then my opponent has got, he's got erosion at 1C. He's also got it, making airliners. So I couldn't block erosion if he has it, and that therefore means that Panga in row N probably was best. So I'm glad we sorted that out, and that ended the game. Fortunately, it didn't matter, and that's one of the nice things. If you're sufficiently far ahead, you can make a complete pig's ear of the end game and survive, which I think is what happened here. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching that video, and I will see you next time.